Hello, welcome to Marriage Minutes at His Pace. And today we are talking about loyalty in marriage. This topic came up because I read an article on Serena Williams, and she did an interview recently talking about marriage and talking about that marriage was hard work or marriage was not bliss unless you work at it. And then one of the things that she said down at the bottom is that a deal breaker for her was loyalty. So Mark, what does loyalty look like in marriage for you?
Loyalty to me in marriage means that you in it to win it, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, for sickness or in health. It just means that you're down. You're loyal to the cause of what we're trying to do. As hard as it may get sometimes, as easy as it may get sometimes, you're just in it to win it. And you roll. And you defend when you have to defend. You retreat when you have to retreat. But for the greater good, the team goes first.
Yeah, it's ride or die, right?
Ride or die.
So for me, loyalty, I think that's a very good umbrella that you mentioned. I want to be a little bit more specific about what it means, because I do feel like there are times when I fail you in regard to being loyal. When, so for example, if we're on, or Mark has an idea about something and I get the idea that he really wants me to agree with him and be his yes man, I'm not always the best at doing that because I just have an opinion and sometimes it doesn't match what Mark's opinion is, or I am easy to see, for example, if he's making a comment about someone else, I'm easy to look at, well, don't we kind of do that? Or don't you do that? Or we can't talk about that because we do this or you do that. And so we get into a little bit of strife about that. And so that's something that I need to pray about, because I think Mark expects me to be his yes man. And sometimes I really want to be, but I don't agree with him all the time. And I'm sorry.
In regards to that, I know that if I point the finger at something that I see, there's always going to be three pointing back at me. But my situation is that I just want to look at the pointed finger. I know that there's three coming back at me. I don't want to discuss the three coming back at me. I don't need to discuss the three coming back at me. I just want to look at the pointed finger. And so I never get a chance to look at the pointed finger in this relationship when we're discussing stuff sometimes, because she'll pick one of the three and it's just like, dude, I just was pointing out, can you just say, yeah, I see that? And then we can talk about, yeah.
So then I guess I need to be better at asking, is this a time that you want me to listen? Or is this a time that you want me to offer advice? So that's one of the things that I need to work on, because I know a lot of times I'm easy to say, but we can't talk about the people because look at our old front porch.
Very true.
So that's a place where I'm not loyal. But in terms of, yes. I also, on that same note, I also don't feel my spidey senses go up when I'm doing that, because I do feel like it's reciprocated. I feel like that we do the same thing to one another.
We're going to have to have a timeout.
Pray about us being loyal in our conversation with
Team
one another,
Whitehouse.
trying to support.
Loyalty.
But let me tell you something good about my husband. I won't talk about me. I'll say that he's more loyal than I am. We'll just put it out there. But here's what I know about my husband. I know that my husband is loyal to certain things in our relationship, and he's going to make sure that he's taking care of certain things in our relationship. He's very loyal to that. He's very loyal to the roles and responsibilities that he's taken on, and he takes the responsibility. Our bills, he's the one that makes sure that all our ducks are in a row. In terms of maintenance around the house, he's the one that makes sure. So he's those areas in which he's loyal in, bet you bottom dollar. That's my dude, ride or die.
What about the other areas?
We're all in work in progress.
Yeah. Work in progress.
He's supposed to talk about how loyal I am right
now. I didn't feel that nudge. Yeah, that nudge. And what was the question again? my wife is very loyal to the cause. But I think what we're trying to say is you have to be pulling in the same direction. And and that's important. And it's about teamwork. And it's about knowing that your spouse is in it to win it. No matter how difficult the situation may be, no matter how heart-wrenching situations that may come up in your life, you just want to know that you're connected to somebody that has your whole being in mind. And so that's the important aspect of loyalty, so to speak.
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
There are times in your marriage when you personally are going to feel more loyal than your spouse. And I'm kind of getting back to maybe the Serena Williams interview, and it implied possibly that there were some differences in the level of loyalty. And here's what I'll say about that. There are times when you are going to feel like that. There are times when you are going to feel betrayed. You're going to feel alone. You're going to, and the loneliest place in life is in a marriage. You think as a single person you are alone and feeling lonely. The biggest time in my life of feeling lonely is when we were not on the same page. And I lived in a house with him, and I was the loneliest that I could be. And so I guess my point in saying all of that is this: there are going to be ebbs and flows in your relationship, but really, and we've said this a million times, worry about yourself. Worry about your loyalty. When you get to a good spot in marriage, you ought to be wanting to win at being the best spouse you can be. I want to outdo Mark at being the best spouse that I can be. And he is too good anyway. So I can't beat him.
I'm being set up.
But no, but seriously, that ought to be your mission. I want to outdo him, and he ought to want to outdo me in terms of that loyalty. And if you worry about yourself and worry about that, then you don't have time to look at what he is or is not doing.
And I think those times in which one person is taking the lead in terms of loyalty or whatever we want to call it, I just think that's the season that your marriage and your relationship is in, because I think God calls for certain times in which, and the Bible says there's a time for everything. There are certain times in which you have to display that, and maybe it's because something has to be extracted from the relationship in terms of some weaknesses or maybe some selfishness, and the only way for that to be at the forefront is for that person to display a character that will uproot something that may be prevalent within the marriage. And sometimes you don't see that unless that person has been thrust upon and showing something that will cause that, what's the saying? A hit dog only bark, so something like that. I don't know.
And also the Bible says all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord, who are called according to his purpose. So God is going to use that imperfection, that season of roughness to perfect you. And so that's the good thing, that we may always be going through this cycle of loyalty in and out, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But what is your goal? What at the end of the day, is that still my goal, to be this man's wife until death do us part? And my answer is yes.
My answer is yes. Loyal. Be well, be blessed.